Hello, everybody. Zongets134 here.
And as always, I'm Average Joe Squad.
And welcome to another episode of Remember the Hyphen, the show where we look at comic books, movies, and everything in between. And I almost slurred those together. I don't know why I was going so fast.
You slurred it because it is fucking cold.
It ain't that cold.
We had 2 days of warm weather. Now it's back to freezing my ass off.
And we're going to talk about a comic book and a TV show that probably nobody liked.
Which I still dispute because I think a lot of people liked it. We're just giving shitposting groups way too much credit.
I don't know. I never saw anybody, even reviewers talk really nice about this because they were like, oh, but anyway, we're finally going to talk about Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run. In
addition to talking about the TV show on Disney Plus.
Which,
yeah, it's a couple months late, but real life happened.
I gotta be honest, like I said, I got really burned out because it just seemed like nobody was happy with any of the TV shows after a while. And which is a shame because I had heard about this and I'd found this at a cheap bookstore. I was like, I'm curious because everyone talked about how good this book was and I'd seen panels out of context of it. And I sat down with this one day and I was like, it looks pretty good. And then I read it and I was like, holy shit. This actually made Hawkeye interesting. Your thoughts before we really go into this, kind of...
I really never had that much familiarity with the character or with Kate until, honestly, the show, because I read this after we watched the show all the way through. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I didn't really know what to expect with this.
Yeah.
I really found myself enjoying it a lot. I read it in 2 sittings, basically. The volume he's got, it's just volume 1. It's very, very short.
There's a bunch of volumes of these, but more or less this is
just the first volume. I can see a lot of what they took for the show.
Yeah, most of the TV show comes from this volume.
Yeah, and so the one thing that really kind of hit me and I really appreciated was just the art style.
Yeah.
And the way stuff is laid out, layout wise in the comic. It doesn't look or feel like a normal comic book, which I kind of appreciated. Because it was, I almost felt like every page had something different going on, and you could actually study it. I also really appreciated the page with his setup for the audio cables with the VCR and shit. I was like, that's funny. That's funny as hell.
Yeah, I really think this is interesting because the narrative is really interesting too, because it's not it's the character narrating what's going on. This is very much, everything is from Clint's point of view. So everything, the characters talk a certain way. If they do talk a certain way, they do kind of feel like it's from Clint's perspective. One of my favorite scenes is when he's listening to the tracksuit vampires talking with each other, and it goes to something in Russian or something in he doesn't know what they're saying because it's in a language he doesn't understand. Or if he does understand, he doesn't really care what they're saying. And I actually like that we don't get what they're saying. Because a lot of comics they'll just
seriously, bro, seriously, seriously, bro.
I actually really like seeing the character, because not a lot of comics do that where we actually see how they see other characters. I think that's a really interesting way of writing where everything is from. It's not like you get what people actually are like. You actually get them as the protagonist views them. Would you agree that was really
definitely and. I can't honestly think off the top of my head a lot of comics that do that.
Yeah.
Aside from, again, showing my SIP car here. The original Spider-Girl run does that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it does it in a second person almost narrative. Yeah. Which I always thought was interesting. It really kind of gave me, I was getting a lot of the same kind of vibes with this, but it was obviously a little different because, as you said, this is mainly through Clint's POV.
Yeah. So do you want to kind of talk about what you think this book is about and kind of what you got out of it about the character?
For me, and again, I was drawing a lot of comparisons with this from the get-go with the show.
Yeah.
Which I think was honestly going to happen given the order in which I both read that after I watched the show.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, but at the same time, I was kind of I was almost more interested in the stuff that I hadn't seen, if that makes sense, because it was brand new material. It's kind of I'm reading the Blade novelization because I just rewatched the first movie last night.
We're trying to get that review off the ground.
And it's kind of you almost are trying to spot stuff that's different because you can picture what's going on because you've seen the TV show.
Well, I think one of the things the things that's really interesting here is how they flipped like the way their personalities are, kind of.
Yeah.
Whereas, because like in the book, in the show, Clint's kind of gotten his shit together, and Kate's trying to like learn the ropes of being a superhero, but she's really kind of a mess about it.
Like really green at it, basically.
Yeah. Whereas here, Clint is very much kind of, I wouldn't say a loser, but like he tries his best, but like he constantly screws up. I mean, he does the right thing eventually, but like, you know, he'll get pretty beat up, or something will go wrong, or his relationships fall apart. Whereas, and then you have Kate, who's actually like pretty much all together. Like, in a lot of ways, she's like what Clint could be. Like, she's not nearly as hung up on herself as Clint is, which is why I think what makes it's kind of funny how like the TV show flip flops that.
Yeah. But I think it works.
No, it does.
In both cases in the medium's favor, because you're still getting the same essence, like the same basic story and premise.
Yeah.
Even with the roles being reversed.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say would be like the highlights when you were reading through this?
Obviously, Clint trying to hook up his fucking AVs and stuff, because as somebody who just did that. Because I just recently set up an entertainment center with a bunch of consoles and stuff, and I use switch boxes so I don't have to fiddle with AV cords.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't want to do that again. I really don't want to have to set that up again.
Yeah.
That is such, and I'm not even running that through a sound system. If I was running it through a sound system, I don't even want to imagine the headache I would be having.
Because I thought it was really interesting how they actually play more into Clint's hearing loss. Like, where, like, sometimes, like, people, like, he's not paying attention, so people will start signaling to him to, like, get him to pay attention. He's like, yeah, I thank you. Like, I thought that was really interesting how, like, they do that. And, like, they actually, if I remember correctly, they actually show actual, like, ASL. And you can actually follow what they're saying if you know ASL. I also really like how it shows how, like, Clint can do all this math in his head. Like, in order to get, like, the right shots and stuff. Like that scene where he's trying to rescue Pizza Dog from getting hit by the car, and he's trying to flick the coin just right because he's like, I only got one shot at this. Like, I thought that was really interesting how it goes into like how his thought process is when he fights and such.
Yeah.
For me, one of my favorite stories in this was he was trying to get that tape back from Madame Mask. And I actually really like that one because it really shows how like heroic and noble Clint actually is, where he faked killing these SHIELD agents to keep them safe because they were doing like some sort of black ops thing.
No, he killed a crime boss.
Oh, yeah, he killed a
crime boss, and then it was a couple of SEALs that did it, but SHIELD basically covered it up.
Yeah, because like they would have gotten attacked by the mafia if they had been found out. Which again is really funny because it kind of plays into like how Clint actually did kill some crime bosses in the TV show. Also, what are your feelings on Pizza Dog?
He was okay. I mean,
yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot for me to go off of.
Yeah,
and I'm not really a dog person. So.
It's a lot more interesting in like later stuff, especially after. Oh, Kate just fucking steals the dog. He's just like, "Fuck you! I'm taking the dog, you asshole." Because she still has the dog actually. Because we were looking through the dollar bin comics here at Walmart one day, and they actually had like the first issue of like the Kate Bishop Hawkeye miniseries, and she still has Pizza Dog, and I'm like, aw. Although I actually want to pick up some of her miniseries and stuff because I'm curious what they're like.
We'll have to see if there's some up in Erie when we go.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on when they actually went into Clint's backstory in this about like his days in the circus and such?
It was okay. Again, I didn't really know a whole lot, so it was interesting for me to kind of see like the origin of that character because again, I just don't know a whole lot.
Well, it was also kind of interesting because like this really confused me because like the guy who's the swordsman in this is his brother, and I'm like, so that guy's Clint's brother. But then I forget that like the MCU Hawkeye is a little bit more based on the Ultimate Hawkeye who has like a family, and although he's kind of weird because he's like a weird mixture of the Marvel Hawkeye or the MCU Hawkeye and the 616 Hawkeye. So like he has the family, but they don't die, and then he paints a fucking bullseye on his head because he wants to fucking die or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you talked about the art a lot. What'd you really like about the art?
It's very distinctive.
Yeah.
For me, like, it seems like, as specifically as a Spider-Man guy, like, while we've had so many different artists and stuff do Spider-Man stuff, or like we've even had so many, as an even better example, we've had so many people do Batman.
Yeah.
Where we've seen a whole lot of different art styles. They all kind of at the same time feel very much like the same story. Whereas I think a lot of that of where I felt about this was I haven't read really any Hawkeye stuff. So maybe in that case the art kind of came off to me as a little more distinctive just because I don't have the experience of reading anything else.
Yeah.
With the character. But that was one thing that really got me, was just the art style felt very unique. It felt very much like stylized to the character.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what it really works and helps kind of draw you in when you're reading it into, like you were talking about, how the book really does a good job of doing his mindset.
Yeah.
The same thing kind of happens here, is like not only is the writing doing that, the art style is also really lending itself to that.
Yeah. I'll just, like, because like for one thing, it looks like it's almost hand painted. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but like it has like this really neat art effect. Like it almost looks like really old school comic book stuff. But yeah, it's very interesting. So like I also really like how like it kind of changes the like it oddly has, even though it looks really really good, it also has like it looks very different each time like you go through it. But yeah, do you think this was a really good introduction to Kate for people who've never read it before?
I would think so. I would have liked a little more like backstory with her. Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, I wasn't really expecting a whole lot because it's really more Clint's story in this.
Yeah. Although I wondered, did you read the included Young Avengers issue in here, but where where she actually gets approval to be Hawkeye?
I read it cover to cover.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, if you really want to know about Kate, you really have to read like Young Avengers, because she's one of the founding members of the Young Avengers. Which I actually recommend Young Avengers in general, just because it's a very interesting book. Just because it's about this group of heroes after the original Avengers disassembled. In fact, for a while they were actually like the only Avengers, which is wild to think about. Unfortunately, they didn't get a lot of coverage because at the same time they were coming out, Runaways was becoming a thing, and you watched the Runaways TV show, you know how like much of a breakout hit that was.
Yeah.
Even though you've never really read that, but like the Runaways was so popular, it got a TV show before the Young Avengers. But you would think it'd be easy to just do a Young Avengers cartoon, but what'd you think about Hawkeye's and Kate's costumes in this?
Because they're basically the same exact ones that were in the show at the very end, at least. I liked the familiarity of them. They work very well for the characters.
Yeah,
they didn't feel gaudy, I guess, is really the best case, because
like, to be fair,
me being an X-Men guy, listen, I understand about gaudy costumes.
And as someone who loves classic Hawkeye, that costume is a lot.
Yeah.
like
low-key hard sell.
Yeah, like as much as I would love for the MCU to do his costume, it would be so weird and out of place, especially given that his origin is he's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. instead of a circus performer. It just doesn't fit the character to be like all goofy and out in that outfit. Like when we were watching the TV show, I was like, please do not put him in his traditional classic outfit. Please do not do that. You can't make that outfit work. It doesn't translate well. There's one time where you see the classic Hawkeye, and it's when Clint's being attacked in the nude by the tracksuit Draculas, and they put it over his crotch. And if you had any negatives to this book, well, what would it be?
Probably the biggest thing I would say is that, well, I think the art style was something I really, really liked.
Yeah.
I can see where some probably might say that it almost like detracts, or it's maybe a little hard to follow for some people. I mean, because I remember there were a couple times reading this where I had to reread some stuff because my brain just was like, I can't focus on this at all.
That's fair.
Like, especially the pizza dog centric issue. That one, like my brain was like,
I
cannot follow this.
I can see that. I remember now that you remember reading that. That's one where basically it's Kate and Hawkeye are having like arguing because basically Clint is completely shut her out, and she's basically taking Pizza Dog and going back to California.
Yeah, it was like I said, that issue, like
I can get
the way
that.
It was just the delivery on it honestly like threw me off. Again, maybe I'm not the only one that's ever happened to, but it definitely was a case of like I had issues following that.
I do love when he finds Lucky and he finds out that his name is actually Arrow, and he's like, no God, this is not a sign for me to keep the dog. Well, then he changes his name. I'm like, damn, Clint, this is someone's dog. I know they abandoned it, but jeez. But yeah, I for me, as much as I love the book, I do kind of feel like I wish there was like a little bit more of an overarching narrative in it. Like I like the one shot feel to it, but like I wish there was a little bit more to it.
Yeah, that would probably be another complaint with me is that maybe I would like a little more narrative.
Although to be fair, we've only read the first volume, so like there probably
it might pick up later. Honestly, in the rest of the run, if you ever got the rest, I'd be interested in borrowing them.
The problem is I need to like I don't know if I'm gonna find the rest of the run. My worry is I'm gonna have to try and find like the Fraction omnibus of it.
You need to try online, dude.
Yeah, I probably can find it on there. Although I actually love this volume is called Hawkeye. Apparently the original name of the title was Hawkeye, My Life as a Living Weapon. Which, I mean, granted, in this, like, it's actually like that they show off that he's not just an archer. Like, the dude knows, like, martial arts. He's been trained by Captain America. Like, he's been trained by Captain America. He's been a ninja. He's been Giant Man. Like, dude knows how to fight. I actually love that one fight where him and Kate are just back to back kicking ass and taking names when they're fighting Madam Mask. Which I also gotta ask, how this has to be like the first time you've ever seen Madam Mask.
I've seen her before, but I've never really read anything with her in it because again, you mentioned she was really an Iron Man centric villain, and I'm not really an Iron Man guy. I was like, yeesh. I think the words yeesh and damn are the two adequate descriptors.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know Madam Mask, because I want to just briefly talk on her, because her backstory is so fucked up. She's the daughter of a villain known as Count Nefarious, I want to say is his name.
It's a little on the nose, but
who's also an Iron Man villain. He's basically like Ra's al Ghul for Iron Man, kind of. And basically he's a gangster. Well, they use his daughter because he wants to extort Tony, despite knowing that his bodyguard is fucking Iron Man. What's a bunch of gangsters gonna do against Iron Man? Well, basically, she's supposed to, like, get into Tony's good graces. Well, she falls in love with him. And when she fails her father throws acid in her face and scars her. Hence why she wears the mask. And basically, she goes nuts and at one point, like, kills her dad, although I think he gets better later.
He gets better.
Because comic books.
Yeah, that's a hashtag comic books.
And what's hilarious to me is, like, she's nuts, but Tony still would totally bang her regardless. I mean, great. I'm glad he like loves her regardless of her scarring. Like, this woman one time swapped brains with one of Tony's girlfriends and like was manipulating him at like. In fact, I want to say that's in The Crossing.
Oh God.
So enjoy when you get there. For those of you who don't know, he's had this book from me for like almost a year and a half now, or more. He's been trying to get through it. How far are you in it?
I don't fucking remember.
Like about half?
Bro, I'm trying to erase it from my brain because it's so fucking... This isn't a story. This is a collection of bullshit. There's nothing to this. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, you need to finish it so we can review it and I can get my book back.
I want to fucking finish myself. I gotta fucking read any more of this shit.
I tell you to just fucking like speed read it because it's fucking terrible.
I can't.
And I know
I don't know how to speed read, Adam. I've got OCD. I don't know how to.
Just be like, just look at the page. Be like, all right, I know the essentials. Move on. I also like you to get through Next Wave because that book is great and I think you'll enjoy it. But
I don't know what you're talking to me.
Motherfucker, you have my copies of 52 as well.
You made me read those. I didn't ask for those.
Motherfucker, they're good. You act like I'm forcing you to read like Identity Crisis.
Oh,
Anyway, getting back to
probably gonna be next.
Motherfucker, I don't own Identity Crisis because it sucks.
No, that's your favorite, isn't it?
The beating I'm going to give you.
No, that's the best Crisis. I know. It's your favorite, isn't it?
Next week we're reviewing Heroes in Crisis by Tom King.
You can't fucking read that as any more than I could.
Oh, I'll swallow it down to you have no idea what I'm capable of when I'm spiteful. But
I would rather you just get the gun and shoot me.
Anyway, any final thoughts on the book before we move on to talk about the TV show?
I really like it. As somebody who didn't know a whole lot about the character / had never really read a whole lot, I thought it was a good read. It really nails for me the character, I guess.
Yeah.
At least in the understanding I have of the character.
Yeah. I mean, I as someone who kind of always was like, if I want to read about an Archer character, I'll just pick up Green Arrow. This was actually really, really good. I get why Fraction is so beloved. In fact, I want to say he's also done a run on Daredevil, which, if it's anything like this, I want to pick his Daredevil run up too. Because there's no such, well, to be fair, there's no such thing as a bad Daredevil run. There's mediocre runs, but for the most part, they're all really, really solid. But yeah, this was really, really good. I don't want to give a rating to this just because I haven't read everything from it, but like, honestly, if you like the TV show, or even if you didn't like the TV show, I honestly recommend picking this up. It's really fun, and I think it's a really great character piece. Like, it really gets into who Hawkeye is as a character. So, like, I honestly would recommend picking this up. It's very solid. Would you agree?
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. We might as well just hawk into it. Hawkeye is a TV show on Disney Plus. The film takes place roughly like a few months or a few weeks before the ending of No Way Home, I want to say.
I want to say it's like the end scene, I think, takes place during it.
Okay.
I want to say.
Gotcha.
In which case, I'm like, man, Spider-Man's being an asshole for not jumping and down and helping.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's kind of busy dealing with much more powerful villains than Clint's dealing with, if it's any consolation.
But I definitely want to say that No Way Home takes place before.
Yeah. I would assume so. Like, the problem is I need to look at the statue that they made, because I want to see if if it's really at where it was when the attack happens, or if it's.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is the shield. Remember, the shield gets knocked down at the very end of the movie. So but I remember in the TV show that it still had the scaffolding around it. So I almost want to know if they probably just fixed it, is probably what it was.
It probably was what they just fixed it. But basically, the plot of Hawkeye, the TV show, for the most part, revolves around more or less what Hawkeye was doing during the 5 years before everyone got snapped back to life. Basically, before pre-Endgame stuff. Basically, Hawkeye's days is the character Ronin, who in the Marvel Universe has had like a couple different people, be it, but like the most well-known well-known Ronin is Clint. Although I want to say, in fact, the villain of this show had also been Ronin at one point. Don't quote me on that. But basically, it takes place. It's about that, and also about a character that apparently had been around since the original Avengers film, Kate Bishop, who was inspired by Hawkeye to become a superhero after her father was killed during the Battle of New York. And basically, the plot intersects because basically Kate's mother is engaged to this dude who she thinks is kind of sketchy. Well, basically, she finds out he's going to this auction that's auctioning off supervillain regalia. There's a couple other things. I forget what exactly was in it, but I remember there was some...
The watch.
The watch, the shield agent watch that belonged to Clint's wife, which I'm pretty sure is retconning Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as saying that his wife is Mockingbird, which I'm fine with because I always liked Hawkeye and Mockingbird as a couple.
Well, there's also debate on...
I know there's debate.
whether or not maybe the Mockingbird title is like a 007 type.
Well,
of
I
thing.
actually kind of assume that anyways, but like
There's debate about that. I've been seeing debate about that since that show came out.
but basically
Mainly from pissed off Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans.
yeah, but basically Kate gets a hold of the Ronin costume, and her mom's fiance gets a hold of the sword, and basically this is happening while this group known as the Tracksuit Mafia, which I love they call them the Tracksuit Mafia instead of the Tracksuit Draculas. But basically they attack, and Kate, in a moment of, young naivety, puts on the Ronin costume to keep her identity a secret and fights the Draculas, or the Mafia off.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, while also becoming an enemy of them and sparking a new manhunt for Ronin, which drags Clint into it, because he's taking his kids to New York
to see Rogers the musical.
Well, I think the idea is that they were like on like a trip to New York, and one of the things was they went to go see a musical on Broadway.
He turned his fucking hearing aids off. And shit. I was like,
but yeah, that's
fair.
And the basic premise is basically Clint's trying to protect Kate and get her out of this thing, while also trying to get home in time to spend Christmas with his family. And that's more or less the basic premise. I very much like to call it Die Hard, but with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's not even like a rude thing to it. Like, literally.
There's a lot of similarities.
To especially like how much Clint is very much like McClane. So yeah, you want to give your thoughts on the TV show, or do you want me to start with it?
You can go first.
I actually really when this show was coming out, I was really excited for it because I had read the book, and I basically became like a Kate Bishop stan just by reading the book, and I loved her in this show. I really loved that, like, the reversal of Clint being put together and Kate not. Like, it really, really was fun. Like, as someone who read the book, it was nice to see the stuff they took straight from the comic. They kind of like
breathed like some new life into
yeah,
some
it
stuff.
was really fun. This is like there was some stuff I didn't expect to happen, and it was very much a nice change of pace. Now, fair warning, while this does take a lot from the faction run, it also takes a lot from, like, Young Avengers and, like, Kate's solo series and stuff, as someone who's...
So it was amalgamation of a couple different sources.
Yeah. But, like, it was so fun watching this, and, like, seeing Kate just desperately try to, like, be like her hero Hawkeye, and failing really hard, but at the same time, like, seeing that, like, she had the potential... and it was just really cool to see them work together and kind of helping Clint kind of overcome his grief with Natasha's death. And just all the cool shit we got to see. Especially them bringing in my boy Vincent D'Onofrio to reprise his role as the fucking Kingpin.
Which also, he wears that Hawaiian shirt. It's a reference to Spider-Man Family Ties.
Oh my god, that was so cool. I'm sorry, Vanessa, but the Hawaiian shirt stays on during sex.
You're lucky this is a Disney Plus show. The last time I was in this situation, somebody died.
Oh my god. I was so happy we got to see the fucking Kingpin in this show. Because, like, I'm sorry, like, it's not the Marvel Universe without the Kingpin. Like, he's one of those characters that, like, it's always fun to see him show up. Yeah. Even if I think he's an annoying son of... Even though I think it's bullshit every time he fights Spider-Man and wins. I'm sorry. It's bullshit. He can barely handle a blind man in a devil costume. You're telling me this fat tub of fuck cannot handle... Like, can handle a fucking dude who has the proportionate strength of a spider? I call bullshit. But,
My bae was in this show.
Oh, yeah, and of course, Yelena showing up from Black Widow. What were your feel? Do you think they used Yelena really well in this show? Yeah.
She was fucking hilarious in this show.
Oh my god, when she shows up to Kate's apartment. Like, god, that scene where she's eating fucking macaroni and cheese with...
What? I was waiting and I got bored. I got hungry.
Kate, this is not cutlery.
You only have one fork. I'm like...
Well, to be fair, I agree with Kate. I'm like,
you only have one fork?
I live alone. Why do I need more than one silverware?
What if you get lazy and don't want to do the dishes?
That's what you buy plastic silverware for.
That's a waste of money.
Not really. You buy, like, the cheapo stuff.
Yes.
But, I mean, well, then Kate's rich. So what does she care?
Also, I'm sorry. That scene of her and Kate in the elevator was
Oh my
fucking
God.
the funniest shit I've ever seen.
AKA, I'm like, Kate is having a sexual awakening and she just doesn't know it. Ow! What was that?
That was the funniest shit.
Also,
she looked so offended. Yeah. Like, why did you hit me?
I also love that she like she wore her costume under her dress and it was rip away so she could just rip it off in a moment. So she's like,
did you plan that?
Not yet. Yes.
Nope. I'm like,
I'm like, Kate, you're so full of shit.
Also, that long shot they did of them fighting, and it just keeps panning.
Oh my God, that long shot was so
hilarious.
Good. That was so fucking good.
Oh, she fucking runs her in the window.
Yeah, no, that was so good. That, like, people were complaining about this show because they're like, oh, it's just about Hawkeye doing some street level stuff. I'm like, yeah, that was so wasn't that so refreshing?
Yeah, so refreshing from holy fuck, the world's gonna end. Dude, I get tired of that shit. Not just, come on.
Not just from the movies, but like the TV shows too. Like let's look at like the plots of like each TV show. Like WandaVision, it's about how she's altered reality and trapped people inside this reality altering vortex.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're dealing with terrorists.
Loki's dealing with the birth of the multiverse.
I'm sorry that this wasn't complicated.
Yeah, like I actually thought it was kind of a breath of fresh air that it was just about these two superheroes fighting street level crime. Yeah. It was actually really nice because
also, man, that scene of Yelena and Clint,
oh my God,
fucking hurt me emotionally, and I was not prepared for that.
Oh, the part with the whistle, right?
Yeah, that whole sequence like annihilated me.
No, that was really rough. I'm back there in the break room
crying in my pizza, and I'm like, why? Why'd y'all do this to me?
No, I remember watching that scene. I'm like, damn, that was rough. I actually was worried that we're gonna kill Clint off in this, and I'm like, no, don't do that. The best thing about Hawkeye is that like Clint and Kate like have like this
also,
great.
Apparently the owl that's in the tree, that's a real owl.
That was a real owl.
They shipped that tree from Norway, and they found that owl in there, and it was hurt. They don't know if it came over from Norway or if it was just there. Yeah. But they nursed it back to health and stuff and released it. But yeah, it gets a cameo in there because it's in the tree.
Aw, that's actually really cool. I didn't know about that. Well, good on them for like protecting that poor little owl. Because owls are like actually like they have it really rough because people like use poison pellets with rats and then they eat the rats and it kills them.
Yeah.
And I'm like so you use actual traps with rats and mice so that because I don't want owls to die.
Where's cats?
There's cats. Although I don't know, make sure the cat's big enough that the owl won't eat it because you'd be surprised what owls can eat.
Yeah, but no, I thought the fight choreography with a lot of stuff in this was also really really good. Like especially they could go back and forth between it being very frantic, with gunfire and people leaping all over the stuff. And then they could do stuff that was like really like down and like really brutal and personal, like the Yelena like Clint fight when she's just fucking annihilating him.
Or that fight with Ronin and Echo.
where they're just straight up just annihilating people. Yeah. Like,
what'd you think of Echo, by the way?
She was okay.
I found her very interesting. Like I actually like that. Like they didn't play her as just straight up like mafia.
Yeah.
Like I really like that when she puts together that like that dude that she thought was so loyal to her was actually like double crossing her because she was working for Fisk.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually really liked that scene at the end where she actually gets to shoot the Kingpin.
He's not dead. I'm sorry. I don't fucking.
No, I'm sorry. I hate.
I don't care what anybody says. He's not dead.
Like that was
I didn't see a body. It ain't so. He's not dead. Fuck off. This is basic rules of any media. If you do not see the body, the character has a chance to come back. That's why they do it like that.
Also, Daredevil showed up in fucking No Way Home. They're not going to do Daredevil without the fucking Kingpin.
Yeah.
That's like making a PB&J sandwich
with no bread.
With no bread. Like you don't do it. But like
you're just getting the crust and some PB&J.
But yeah,
not a very appetizing sandwich.
I'm actually kind of curious how what they're going to do with Echo. I assume she's going to show up in the Daredevil movie they're making.
I assume so. Not to mention it's. I saw that I think it was confirmed that he is in the She-Hulk show, and he's like a supporting, like a big supporting character.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope he's. Oh, please let me see him in costume. Please let me see him in costume.
And not that stupid ass black leotard shit. We don't need to see that.
Like, no,
he was in that for like almost 3 seasons. Let him wear an actual costume.
Well, yeah, because like, what, you think he's gonna look ridiculous? Have you fucking read a Daredevil comic?
I think with their track record with the costume stuff, that he's gonna get a costume because they've all been pretty good up to this point with a track record of actual costumes showing up.
Going back to the actually, what did you think about Kate in this show? Because I don't think we really.
I really liked her, honestly. I can't remember that actress's name, but she played her very, very well. Like,
she's in the Bumblebee movie. She was the main character in that.
Yeah, I really like her, honestly.
Yeah,
she's also the voice of Spider-Gwen in the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, that is her. Yeah. Which, sorry for all the memes about that Gwen.
No, don't apologize. The memes are funny.
I mean, they're funny, but like,
don't apologize for shit. It was funny, man. It was funny.
Well, I'm just being respectful. That's all. Now getting back to that.
What if I talk about Vanessa?
You leave my wife's name out of your fucking mouth.
I'm sorry, Vanessa. The shirt stays on
during sex.
I love when he showed up. I had to text it to you. I was like, Adam, watch, because you hadn't watched it. You're like, I'm going to watch it tonight. I'm like, no, watch that shit now. Yeah. We need to talk.
And then I was like, holy shit.
And you got to the end and you're just like, it's one little shitty security campaign.
Oh my God. I was just like,
it's the guy I've been worried about this whole time. That's Kingpin. And you're just like, oh my God.
Well, because everyone was like, it's going to be Kingpin. And I'm like, we don't know that though. And then they show Kingpin. And it's Vincent D'Onofrio.
I remember you just saying, holy shit. I just sent that gif of him walking into frame like.
No. I'm sorry. I don't care what they say. The original Netflix Daredevil is going to be canon to me forever.
I'm almost positive it is.
No, I'm almost... Because, like, everyone loved it. Like, regardless of your feelings on anything else in that, everyone agreed.
Are we going to bring back Iron Fist?
I don't think so. I really hope they do bring back Iron Fist because, like, the problem wasn't with the character. It was the problem with the team. The show sucked.
Yeah, the show just sucked.
Just give Iron Fist another chance, but instead of having him and Luke Cage be in separate shows, you put them in one show and you call it Heroes for Hire. Because that's what everyone knows. It's Power Man and Luke Cage, Heroes for Hire. Like, it prints money. But, getting back to the Kingpin, because while he is really cool, he's also a point of controversy in this show because everyone's like he's really weak sauce. Did you feel that way with this show?
Not really.
Like,
I mean, it was another case of I could kind of see both sides.
Yeah,
but it wasn't a fucking issue for me because he's barely in this fucking show.
Like, he's only in there.
We saw like him for like maybe a grand total like 25 minutes.
Well, and here's my other thing. Everyone complained about that fight between him and Kate. And I'm sorry.
That wasn't even really a fight. That was just Kingpin tossing her around. That wasn't even really a fight.
Not only that, it's like, watch that scene. Kate does everything she can against him.
He literally can't be stopped.
Like, the only reason
the marshmallow fluff was the only thing keeping him going.
Like, the only thing that allowed her to win that was a trick that Clint taught her. And even then, like, people were like he was so lame. I'm like, he survived like a massive explosion, and all it did was slightly singe him.
Yeah.
Like, he's still the Kingpin in this. Like, dude walked off an explosion.
Yeah. He's not fucking dead. I don't know why everybody's fixated on Sam.
No, I'm like, they're not going to kill off Vincent D'Onofrio when they just got him. He's an Academy Award-winning actor. Like, that would be like...
Didn't Angelina Jolie just recently say, no, Marvel owns everybody for life?
like, given Disney's track record of keeping actors that people liked in this, they didn't kill him off.
Especially because Charlie Cox even said recently, he's like, listen, I've known that when they did Daredevil, I was going to be back in it for a while. They literally told me that.
Yeah, because they're like, they saw how everyone lost their fucking minds at like the Daredevil TV show. So it was no fucking duh that they were going to be like, hey, Charlie, are you doing anything right now?
Yeah, you want to come up and talk?
Well, what about being Daredevil? I still got the costume, actually. Like, okay, I don't think that was the case, but like, I could just see like Charlie coming into the office wearing the fucking Daredevil outfit, be like,
well, and given too that a lot of the actors and actresses from the Netflix shows, when they got put up on Disney Plus recently, a lot of them tweeted about it. I'm just like,
because I definitely
question mark. I
actually think we might, if we're getting Avengers, we might be getting the new Avengers, and we might be seeing Luke Cage as an Avenger.
Especially because, like, even like I can't remember that girl's name, the one that played Jessica Jones.
Oh, I know who you're talking
about. Christian Ritter.
Yeah,
she even tweeted about. She's like, hey, I'm a fucking Disney princess now.
Which I'm still blown away they put Jessica Jones up on Disney Plus, because, like, you know, everyone talks about how violent Daredevil is.
Jessica Jones has that and sexual content.
Yeah, especially the stuff with the purple man. But
that's why they had to literally work the rating thing where you can't access it. You have to change your profile to even get access to it.
I love people are like,
because I woke up and I'm like, hey, Brian went ahead and changed our settings so we can get into it.
I love that they changed the settings for Daredevil. I'm like Daredevil's pretty violent. I guarantee you the rating change was more because of
they were
Jessica
worried about people,
Jones.
And they were worried about people bitching about it.
Yeah, which I'm like, well, a lot of people were bitching about it, but at the same time, I'm like, they did a survey that proved that most people are like your age and mine that watch it. It's not like families with kids. It's people that like are you and me that watch it for the Marvel stuff and like old cartoons that we watched as kids.
Yeah.
But what were your opinions on Kate's mom and her stepdad, I guess, kind of? Or
they were okay. I really didn't have any opinions on them one way or another.
I actually really kind of grew to love Swordsman. Like, just because he just so like he just wanted to fight dudes with a sword. Like,
don't we all?
Yeah. I also like at the end with oh my god, the fucking LARP.
The LARPing shit in this was hilarious.
That scene where like he's trying to get the Ronin suit back from that one LARPer, and he has to LARP to get to it. That shit was so funny. Like, because it's just Clint being like,
and then they get called up later because they make the costumes, and I'm like, that was really funny.
Well, actually, I also really like that because it was really nice because they're all like members of like, you know, like the New York first responses. Like, you know, like there's ambulance drivers and policemen, and like they just want to do it because they want to feel like they matter. And I actually really like that they did like this whole thing about like, you guys do matter. Like, you guys are actually more heroes than like the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, because I always like when like in comics they actually treat like the like civil service workers with like the respect they deserve. Because, like, a lot of times in comics, they always treat cops as, like, bumbling idiots. I mean, granted, there's some truth in television, but, like...
There's truth. There's a little bit of truth in everything.
But, like I always like when, like, they show, like, firemen and doctors and ambulance drivers, like, being, like...
Or CSI people.
I mean, well, I mean, to be fair, a lot of superheroes are CSI guys.
These fuckers can't figure out who's got the pizza. What do you mean they're going to try to find Doug?
Oh, yeah. They can't figure out... These guys in Vegas can't figure out that half the crime in Vegas is the mafia. How are they going to find out who the Zodiac is? I remember that.
An inside joke with the group chat.
Well, it looks like Hawkeye's hit the mark.
Yeah! Drive by. Miami style. What the fuck is that a one-liner?
But no, wouldn't you agree? That
Coming soon. Remember the Hyphen review CSI Miami?
Fuck off. That's just gonna be 20 minutes of me complaining about how fucking stupid those crime shows are.
The Miami one's better than the Vegas.
I mean, the Miami one is, but like, it's only because it's funnier.
David Koresh is in it.
Yeah. But
David Caruso, my bad.
Yeah, David Caruso,
not David Koresh. But that's the guy from fucking somebody else.
Now, if you had any actual complaints about the show, what would they be?
I didn't get enough Yelena. That's my biggest complaint.
Honestly, I don't think I really have any complaints. I think it would have been kind of nice to get a little bit more with Clint's family, because there are times
I wanted more Kingpin.
Yeah. But would you agree that there's a lot of times you kind of forget like Clint?
Yeah, there are times where you kind of forget that is a thing. Almost.
Then his wife is smoking hot. Well, isn't his wife the lady who played Velma in Scooby Doo?
It's the same actress.
Which I'm like, no wonder he wanted to retire so bad. Because if I got to go home to that Velma, I certainly would retire from the superhero show.
Mommy?
Mommy? so the thing is, like, I would have liked a little, like, I really liked his relationship with the really little boy, like, because, like, he actually, like, learns sign language to talk with his dad.
Yeah.
And I really liked the relationship he had with his daughter, which I think is, like, low-key, I actually really like how subtle it was that, like, that's probably the big reason why he wants to help Kate out, is because she reminds him so much of his other daughter. That I love that he brought her home to celebrate Christmas. But yeah, I will admit there's one thing different. Like, apparently Kate has like an older sister who's also like a huge bitch, like her mom. Like, they're both into like organized crime. Yeah. Which, wow. But yeah, I really liked the show. I honestly can't really think of anything else I really had any complaints about the show. Like, it was really, really well done. And oh my god, I just realized we never talked about the fucking awesome car fight where they're just showing off all the different trick arrows.
Oh yeah,
that was so fucking awesome. I actually really like that they show he builds.
You don't have to go see Imagine Dragons, no? I love
Imagine Dragons, bro. Oh my god! And the one day it's like, no, I took her to see. Oh, who'd they go to see?
I can't fucking remember.
I want to say.
Why are you trying to kill me then, bro?
Why are you trying to kill me then, bro?
Why are you trying to kill me?
Oh my god! The fucking tracksuit mafia was so funny. Like, they're so dangerous, but at the same time they talk like a bunch of dipshits,
bro.
Also, I love when he pulls out the fucking the Pym particle arrow, and it's just like that shit was awesome. So your thoughts? Like, what would you rate this?
I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, I would have liked some more Yelena, but at this point, I just want a Yelena show, honestly.
Yeah,
so I don't even know if that's really a fair, like a complaint.
I almost feel like she's gonna end up becoming the leader of the Thunderbolts whenever they decide to do those, just because, like,
are we bringing Sam Elliott back? For Thunderbolt Ross, which rest in peace to that actor.
No, well, to be fair, the Thunderbolts, they're not really his thing. It's just a name for this covert group.
No, I know, but still.
But no, I do get what you mean. Although was Red Hulk a member of the Thunderbolts at one point?
I have no clue.
I need to read Thunderbolts or something, because I've always heard it's so good. Like this whole like villains becoming superheroes, and like some of them actually want to stay being superheroes because they're like, yeah, I'm not hunted by the government all the time. For me, I would give it an 8 out of 10, purely because the fucking after credits scene is just fucking the entirety of the goddamn Rogers the Musical song. Oh my god, I hated that so much.
Bro, I didn't watch all of that. I saw what it was, and I'm like, fuck this.
I sat through it being...
Fuck this.
I sat through it hoping there was, like, a stinger. Like,
that's what I was like, I'm going to let Adam watch this, because I don't like musicals at all. I can't sit through that.
As someone who doesn't mind musicals, like, it's just a parody of Hamilton, so I'm, like, sitting there being like, oh, god, this is so long. Although, low-key, I kind of want to cosplay as one of the as the Rogers version of Iron Man that was in this.
Oh my god, the poor man's Iron Man.
I want to get like a group of people just to be the characters from Rogers the Musical.
That'd be funny as fuck.
Like, just that, it's such a great cosplay idea. Thank you, Disney, for doing that. But yeah, no, it's really solid, and I think it's a really fun, just a little like character thing where like it's just about like learn about these characters, and like there's not like a lot of high stakes,
down to earth,
but
it's not like there's huge ass stakes in it.
Yeah, because like every once in a while I like a comic that it's just like about these characters, like street level stuff about these characters. That's why I like a lot of my favorite characters are street level guys. Like I love Spider-Man. It's one of the reasons I really love the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle run, where it's just about him, you know, trying to like live as a superhero, like dealing with the repercussions with him and his family. Like there's really something really interesting about having like, it's like, you know, like as much as I love Batman or Spider-Man or Iron Man, after a while you get kind of tired of watching these heroes deal with like world-ending events or like big crises. Like, so it's really nice to just get like character pieces where you can kind of just unwind and like have a simple story. Like,
yeah,
it's just fun to like learn about these characters, you know. And I feel like that's something I hope Marvel does more of. If I were honest, I actually kind of wish that like they did like a season 2 of this, even though I know this is only like a miniseries. Like, I would really love a whole like TV show just about Kate and Hawkeye and Clint, you know, getting into shenanigans.
Give me a buddy cop show with Yelena and Kate.
That would be good too. Like, although I feel like the next time we're gonna see Kate, it's gonna be in like them doing Young Avengers or whatever they're doing. Because I assume because we've pretty much gotten every character, and we're gonna be getting the aged up version of Wiccan and Hulkling in Multiverse of Madness.
Supposedly.
Well, they say supposedly. I'm like they're like.
I only say that because everybody and their fucking mother is rumored to be in Multiverse of Madness.
No, that's fair. Well, to be fair, we've got I want to call her Stature. We've got Giant Girl. We've got Patriot. We've pretty much got all of the members of the Young Avengers aside from like Iron Lad and Kid Vision. But I don't know. Like I said, that's more me speculating because like they've constantly said they're not doing it, but then like they had Kate on like an interview and like someone said Young Avengers and Kate looked at Feige and Feige's like, I swear to fucking God.
I already dealt with 3 fucking
Spider-Man.
I'm
not dealing with you. But no, like I said, I think that's like way down the line kind of thing. I'm mostly speculating just because again, like we've gotten like every one of them like to show up in stuff, and like I said. That's like I want it, but it's not like it's like a big thing I want. I would rather like we see Fantastic Four and the X-Men show up.
Yeah.
And like I'd rather we see like expansions before we do like the next generation of Avengers. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up? Because I think
I honestly enjoyed the show a lot more than I thought I was going to. I enjoyed it a lot more than I did Loki, honestly.
Yeah.
But for me, a lot of that was still like I felt Loki took a little while to get rolling, whereas this was kind of like.
Yeah,
right from the bat, it was good.
We still haven't watched What If, but that's just because, like, I think you and I both were kind of like...
I've said it before, and I know certain members of the audience are going to argue with me about it. You all know who you are, but I think that animation looks like fucking ass.
It's really cheap. It
looks fucking terrible. I think the new animated Spider-Man series from the MTV era looked fucking better than this. And that looked awful when it aired.
Probably we're at least gonna have to binge watch it because it looks like it's gonna be integral to.
No, I know. I'm just. That animation is awful looking.
Like what I saw of it, like
it just looks cheap as fuck.
It's cheap and like it doesn't really do enough for me to really enjoy. Like it's a lot of the What If stories where like they barely change anything.
Yeah,
like that I don't like.
They didn't go
crazy.
They didn't go crazy enough for me. Yeah. Like, and I know
I agree.
It's got a second season coming, and I know they're probably gonna be a little more willing to go out there on the edge. But man, I'm so tired of that. Where it's like, no, you got to get past the first season, motherfucker. It's supposed to grab me from the go.
Oh, I just realized
that's not an excuse.
It's a good thing we watched this because in a couple of days, Moon Knight's gonna start. Which I'm actually looking forward to that.
We'll probably have to do a first impressions of that.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do it quick though, because we're trying to get this done, and the fucking Morbius is coming out, so we gotta get both of those out real fast. But otherwise, because we haven't done this in a while, let's talk about where we would rate the TV shows now.
I'll go first.
Okay.
WandaVision #1, Falcon and Winter Soldier is 2nd, Hawkeye is 3rd, and then Loki is 4th. That's for me. And I'm not counting What If, I'm just counting the live action ones.
Although probably What If would be down low, because
yeah.
I even like again, I know most of the premises.
And I know there are people that adore it, but I'm just like, it just didn't do it for me.
No.
I don't have to defend myself. I'm allowed to just not like something.
If you like it, that's more power to you. Like him and I said, it just
don't lambaste me for not liking it.
If I were to rate it, it'd be Falcon Winter Soldier for me. Probably Hawkeye, because I really loved Hawkeye. Then WandaVision, then Loki, and then What If. And again, I think in terms of being in terms of quality, WandaVision probably outdoes both of them. But well, for one, Falcon Winter Soldier, the characters I really, really like, which is why I have them up there. But Hawkeye really was just really, really tight and solid. That's the only reason why it and well, actually, probably again, I like Clint and I like Kate, so I again kind of knocks WandaVision down a peg. But that's not because I don't think it's good. I really like the other two just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's gonna wrap it up, guys. Look forward to Moon Knight when it comes out, and
also look forward to a trilogy we have been waiting for a while. because we are going to have a certain guest star back for this one because he has shown great interest in doing it. He just rewatched all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be doing the Blade trilogy.
And also,
we're going to be reviewing Morbius.
Morbius.
Do you want to buy this time? Because I bought the last 3 shitty movies.
Because at least then maybe it will be...
I bought you the Batman. I at least did something good for once.
I gotta be honest, I'm not looking forward to Morbius because we've already heard, like, test screenings said this movie's gonna be bad.
It's barely even 2 hours.
That worries me the most.
That might be a blessing if it's bad enough. I'll be like, oh, thank God I don't have to sit here for like 3 hours. I would probably just off myself at that point.
I at least hope it's decent, like, because I feel so bad because Matt Smith, who's like one of my favorite doctors from Doctor Who, is in it. And I'm like, oh, come on. Why does David Tennant get to be the only good role in the MCU?
Listen, man, Michael Keaton's in it. We're gonna do it for Michael Keaton. We're gonna do it for Keaton.
Oh, which that confuses the shit out of me, knowing like how it. Like
I read something that explains it. I'll tell you off camera.
That's fine.
But we're gonna do it for Keaton.
Yeah.
And maybe Toby if he shows up. Yeah. I'm still seeing rumors that he's in it.
Yeah, look forward to the Moon Knight one when it shows up in Morbius when it. Oh God, why did I have to watch that before my vacation? For my goddamn birthday.
All you have to do is go up. The only place you have left to go is up.
Yeah, I get
at that point. There you go.
At least I get to watch. At least Moon Knight's going to be a decent appetizer before I get to the shit sandwich that's going to be Morbius. Yeah. Actually, I say that like
the cook has pissed in his soup.
I've seen the trailers and it at least looks passable.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys,
I'm still waiting for She-Hulk. That's what I'm really waiting for.
Yeah, you and me both. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Come back for whatever bullshit we have to do next. But until then, guys, I'm Zangetsu134.
And as always, I'm Average Joe Squad.
And as always,
we ask you
to remember the hyphen
and take care.
Because it's about family.